Tonight on Elon Local News, a new addition to On Track is helping more students feel like they belong on Elon's campus.
Price increase on a life-saving device, how this change is affecting Elon students.
The rain didn't stop Sports Fest. We have the highlights.
All that and more.
Elon Local News starts right now. I'm Jackie Pascal.
I'm Perry Eliadrani. While the renovations are being completed in the Williams TV studio, we'll be recording right here from the Elon News Network office.
And tonight we begin with a national holiday that doesn't feel like one on Elon's campus, Labor Day.
Labor Day is a national holiday honoring American workers' social and economic achievements, but here at Elon it doesn't really feel like it. Ashley Boley attended the first ever event recognizing Elon's faculty expertise on labor.
Students, faculty, and staff gathered in Whitley Auditorium for Elon's first Labor Day multimedia program. Professor of Art Ken Hassel spoke about his experience working as an exploited taxi driver.
It was interesting to hear because I'd never really heard someone firsthand talking about their experiences just with mistreatment.
Aside from personal anecdotes, professors shared educational information through different mediums such as historical lectures and even song.
I thought, well, if we're going to talk about labor, we really need to talk about music as well.
Professor Addis's background is in music theory, but she says she has dabbled in singing and songwriting as well. She led the audience in a chorus commemorating the collective voice of exploited laborers.
To be on the stage at Elon, especially, saying these things and saying, let's do this, let's make change, was just, I was really moved by that.
She says she chose 3 songs from different time periods and found music from outside of the United States since labor is universal. And the overall event connected students and staff to the history of Labor Day.
I really didn't know much coming into it, but I actually think it's something I would come to again.
There were more than 120 audience members participating in Elon's new Labor Day tradition. Ashley Boley, Elon Local News.
Faculty Fellow for Civic Engagement, Dr. Jason Husser, led the panel and said this will be an annual event.
This year on Track, Elon students can decide the gender pronouns they'd like to be called. I looked into the culture of gender pronouns and Elon's emphasis on acceptance.
She specifically said, "Hi, my name's Amy. These are my pronouns," which no one had ever done before, and I love that. And they asked her mine, and I told them I used all 3. And they were really cool about that.
Incoming students are asked about their majors and dorms, but not many came to school expecting to be asked about their preferred pronouns.
A lot of people have asked for gender pronouns in the icebreakers and even introducing themselves, and they are really pushing this acceptance at Elon, and I just love it because I feel like I'm in a very good community and I feel very proud to be here.
All students have been prompted via On Track to update their profile with gender pronouns at the top.
We wanted it to be something that students would see, think about, and be able to take action on.
The pronoun options are limited to he, him, she, her, and they, them.
The most neutral one I like is they, them, because it sort of encapsulates all of me, as neither male or female. Saying I'm a boy or a girl doesn't really fit, because some days I like to wear I've worn suits, I've worn dresses.
There are resources listed under the pronoun selection, and the university is looking to expand on this education to create a more understanding culture.
Students could see this and use it effectively and really begin to think about maybe not so much themselves, but about others and their classmates, and how others might not fit into that straight binary.
Looking ahead, students like Sadayo appreciate the current efforts and are hopeful that this is just the beginning.
You always can emphasize, don't use slurs, don't you can ask for pronouns or even have guest speakers, but really it all comes down to the people itself.
You can find more information about gender pronouns and terminology on our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
This year, the Task Force on Social Climate will begin to implement the 42 recommendations they made last spring to improve the social climate here on campus. Many were focused on connecting Elon students beyond the annual org fair, like using technology to match new students to organizations.
The new mobile app, Cork, and the Phoenix Connect, the opportunity for students to get connected to student organizations beyond just at the organization fair, and that platform to find out about events and things that are happening on campus, that was also a direct response to the things that were happening with the task force.
Another recommendation from the task force is the new Connections office in the Mosley Center. The new program will pair upperclassmen with freshmen and help connect them to organizations. The office is located in Mosley 120 and will have regular work hours Monday through Friday.
One of the things that we've heard from students is that organization fair can be an overwhelming experience. And if you don't get connected then, what's that next opportunity to get connected?
I think getting involved across campus can really change the nature of your time at Elon, because if you can get involved early, you can have much more deep connections and develop really strong mentors and really connect across campus and figure out a lot of who you are and what you want to get out of their time here.
A ruling by a district judge may open the door for change for House Bill 2. 2 transgender students at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and 1 transgender employee are now allowed to use the bathroom of their preferred gender. District Judge Thomas Schroeder said the 3 plaintiffs would suffer, quote, irreparable harm if they were to use the bathrooms according to their biological sex. The American Civil Liberties Union is suing multiple North Carolina government officials. The case is scheduled to go to trial in November. The legislation, which has also been referred to as the bathroom bill, has been in effect since March. The bill requires people to use the bathroom that matches their sex in government buildings.
Political candidates from multiple parties will be visiting North Carolina this week. Politicians from 3 parties will be campaigning tomorrow. Sean Haw, a Libertarian candidate for the North Carolina seat in the U.S. Senate, will speak at Elon at 5 p.m.
Donald Trump will be campaigning in Greenville, North Carolina at 7 p.m. And finally, former President Bill Clinton will campaign for Hillary Clinton in Durham beginning at 4:15 p.m. And on Thursday, Hillary Clinton will speak at a campaign event in Charlotte at noon.
With just 64 days until Election Day, you may be wondering how you can cast your vote if you're not from North Carolina. Mail-in absentee ballots are a great way for your voice to be heard. Here are some deadlines for states that are home to many Elon students. In North Carolina, ballot applications must be received by 5 p.m. on November 1st. In New York, applications can be filled out online and printed. They must be mailed no later than November 1st.
In New Jersey, if you would like a ballot mailed to you, you must submit your request at least 7 days prior to November 8th. And in Massachusetts, the ballot application is due by noon November 7th. Each of these states and others recommend applying and voting as early as you can. Be sure to follow Elon News Network for continuing coverage for election 2016.
International terrorism and natural disasters are common concerns for students interested in studying abroad. Director of Study Abroad, Rhonda Waller, says coaching people to focus on situational awareness and knowing who your contacts and resources are can make traveling a lot safer.
Have an unpleasant experience abroad, and the truth of the matter is that students abroad are more likely to face harm as a result of some of their personal decision making, by a large margin. International terrorism really is not statistically a high risk factor. That doesn't mean we don't think about it or talk about it, but we want to put all of these fears and anxieties into proper perspective.
Junior Abby Williams will study in London spring semester, and she says she's not worried.
Studying abroad next semester is something that I'm not too concerned about. I feel like there's always dangers involved with travel and going abroad, and while I obviously intend to be as safe as possible, I don't want any fears to get in the way of this experience.
Coming up, one drug company is causing a nationwide controversy. How the changes affect Elon students.
The summer brought lots of changes to Elon's campus. We have a breakdown of what's new.
Lawmakers are calling for an investigation of Mylan's price surge of the EpiPen. The drug company says it will offer coupons and financial aid. Kaylee Tracy spoke to one Elon student who is concerned about the higher prices.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Senior Nellie Gargano has had a life-threatening allergy to dairy since she was 9 months old and has been lucky enough to have just one reaction.
Within
45 seconds, my throat was about 95% closed.
She says her EpiPen saved her life.
I administered the EpiPen, and within 30 seconds, it opened up completely, and I could breathe again.
A life-saving tool that's recently surged in price.
Good news is we just hit the You're out of pocket for a myelin EpiPen, you're looking at about $629.
According to the New York Times, EpiPen prices have increased more than 400% since 2007, when the company Mylan bought the drug. A 2-pack that was $100 in 2009 is now $600. Robin Lee, owner and pharmacist at Total Care Pharmacy in Burlington, says this isn't a completely unusual trend in the pharmaceutical world.
When you have a smaller number of generic manufacturers in the game, they basically control what the price is going to be.
But for Gargano, who has her EpiPen 24/7,
I probably have my EpiPen with me more than my cell phone.
a trend in the world of medicine isn't enough to profit off of her allergy.
It essentially stops a reaction that will kill you. So I don't know how you can put a price like $700 on that.
For patients with insurance, Lee says EpiPens are still between $200 and $300, although they hold just $1 worth of the drug inside. According to Gargano, whether patients or their healthcare pay for the EpiPen shouldn't matter.
If you're having a reaction that could kill you and there's something that could save your life, I just think it's a no-brainer. I think you should have access to that.
Kaylee Tracy, Elon Local News.
Student Health Medical Director Dr. Jeanette Archinal says while the health center doesn't have EpiPens, they do offer medication found in them, epinephrine.
Many construction projects on campus are entering their final stages after a busy summer. Students came back to campus to find a completely renovated Sloan Residence Hall. In addition, Schar Hall, the expansion of the School of Communications, is expected to open in October. The Jane and Brian Williams Studio, housed in McEwen, will open later this month. And following the completion of Schar Hall, renovations will continue in McEwen.
The search continues for a retail location that will call Park Place home. It won't be Saks Bahal General Store or Company Shops Market, which were both once in talks with EDG Properties. The contracting agency is still searching for a tenant that could benefit both the town and college campus. Co-owner of EDG Properties, John McDonald, said they might fill the space with a business not on Elon's campus, like a dry clean drop-off window, to increase interaction between the two communities. Elon's Downtown Development Administrator, Kathleen Patterson, says they are open to suggestions. If you have any, you can email her at kpatterson@ci.elon.nc.us.
There's a new space for rent in downtown Elon. The clothing store, Mint, located on West Lebanon Avenue, is now closed and has moved to Durham. According to Elon's Downtown Development Administrator, Kathleen Patterson, multiple businesses have shown interest in the space, but no decisions have been made.
Tuesday, the town of Elon will begin replanting trees along Williamson Avenue. Kusa dogwood trees, Japanese maples, and a flower bed will be added in front of Pandora's Pies. Older trees were removed during the summer because they were a safety hazard.
If one of them had fallen over, could have fallen on a car, killed someone, it could have hit a pedestrian. One of the larger limbs could have dropped, it hit a pedestrian, or it could have taken out a building.
Patterson says some of the trees were half dead and others had root systems that were breaking out of the sidewalk.
Coming up, we spoke to the employee behind Elon's intricate flower beds.
The Instagram-worthy flower designs around Elon don't just pop up overnight. Kay McKay spoke to the people who keep campus in bloom all year long.
While the red brick and southern columns attract students from all around, it's often the landscaping and gardens that give Elon that extra something special. Last week, Princeton Review released their annual college rankings, including the most beautiful campus listings for 2017. Elon ranked in 3rd place this year for most beautiful campus in America. For Director of Grounds and Landscaping Tom Flood, it's like an annual pat on the back.
It's not absolute and scientific, and a team doesn't go to every campus, but knowing that the students are voting for us, that they're seeing what we do as something positive and something that they enjoy, is a real benefit to my staff, and they appreciate the support.
It's easy to admire the view as one walks around campus, but for every floral display, it requires months of planning, custom orders, and planting to complete each vision.
For the annual flowers that you see planted in October, we actually had to design them around commencement in order to get the order for plants to be custom grown for us.
To be unique and different means spending money. However, exact amounts are not publicly shared.
Though at the end of the day, Flood believes efforts and money spent on flowers are appreciated by the Elon community.
Elon students voting in the Princeton Review category, it's their impact, it's their impression that makes us the third most beautiful campus. And every year, year in and year out, we're always in the top 20.
Kay McKay, Elon Local News.
To celebrate the beginning of the end here at Elon, the class of 2017 is invited to the senior class celebration coming up this Tuesday, September 6th, by the senior class officers. President Leo Lambert will speak, and the senior class giving campaign will be launched while seniors catch up and enjoy music from local band Cloud Hands. There will be free Elon University Class of 2017 t-shirts for the first 750 students, as well as free food and non-alcoholic drinks for everyone. For those 21 and over, there's a cash bar with $3 beer and $5 wine.
Coming up, we have the highlights from this year's first ever Indoor Sports Fest. The weather may not have been behaving, but that didn't stop students from running, dodging, and throwing their best in pursuit of winning this year's Sports Fest.
With Park being so new, we were a little bit hesitant to where we were going to have our backup location. Luckily, we were able to have it here. Our director, Larry, is amazing, and so it's worked out really well. We don't have any holes in the wall or anything, so it's all good. We have food and stuff. Everyone gets 2 pizzas per team, so why not stick around?
While the games did go on, Campus Rec did face some challenges due to the last-minute weather changes. Many teams left early while the games were still in progress, and a final winner was never announced.
Fans who came on to cheer the Phoenix for their first home game at Rhodes Stadium this Saturday were met with some added security.
The Elon University football team opened its season with a home game on Saturday afternoon. Off the field, fans walking into Rhodes Stadium were greeted with a new stop: security teams checking bags. The athletic department announced the policy change last Wednesday and implemented it for the first time Saturday. The list of prohibited items includes umbrellas, artificial noisemakers, and e-cigarettes, but lawn and folding chairs are now permitted into the stadium.
Yes, I didn't have any problems with it.
I feel fine with it. I agree with it. I think it's a good policy.
Elon's policy states fans are asked to take prohibited items back to their car or dispose of them at the gate. Alex Hager, Elon Local News.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight.
For all the news you need to know when we're off air, you can go to our website at elonnewsnetwork.com.
And as always, you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Elon News Network.
And from all of us here at ELN, have a great night.